Well, all right, good people. Now all we have to do is take this and put it in some place where we can keep it between 70 degrees and 90 degrees for a couple of weeks or so, and allow this yeast to continue to do its work, making alcohol out of the sugars that are inside the pear juice there. And then we're going to transfer it over to another carboy, just like this one, also sanitized, and allow it to work for another 2 weeks, just to work off the rest of the yeast and the sugars there. And then we'll be ready to transfer it over to bottles and actually bottle pear cider. Okay, so what we have here is a couple of weeks later, we've got our cider. It's not bubbling anymore, but we do have some old dead yeast at the bottom. We want to get rid of that so it doesn't get a funky flavor to it. So I've got a fresh, new, sterile carboy we're going to transfer the cider over to. You've probably seen me do this before, but I've got a new piece of equipment that we're trying out this time. It is an auto siphon right here. So this thing is designed to automatically start the siphon, so you don't have to do anything weird like, use your mouth to get it started or pour liquid into the tubing to get the siphon going. So let's have a look at this thing and see how it's used. Okay, so our auto siphon is already attached to the tubing here. I've got it in a plastic baggie to preserve its sterility. I've already sterilized it. We'll pull it out and have a look. Alright, now the way this is supposed to work is you have one end, your free tubing goes into the recipient carboy, which is right here. That's where everything goes. Move this over to the side and put it over here on the plastic, keep it sterile. All right. And here we have the older carboy. Go ahead and, well, it's popping a little bit, but it's mostly done. All right. Now, since the yeast is not entirely done yet, we are going to continue the fermentation process for a little bit once we have it transferred. We just want to get this old yeast out, and it should work a lot better. All right, so we're going to go ahead and slide this back. Hang on a second. All right. All right, there we go. You slide your tubing back. See, it has a plunger on the inside right there. All right, so we have the tube slid back. We insert this down. There's a little sediment filter at the bottom, right there, a little sediment tip. This stops the sediments from going up in to the siphon tube. Push this down into the carboy. I got a little clip that goes on the side there, nice and neat. And then we push this in, and look at that. Just like magic, we got our siphon going. And we are now transferring our cider from carboy number 1 to carboy number 2. I gotta tell you, this is the easiest I've ever started a siphon in my life. Alright, now all we gotta do is give this a few minutes, let it run. It's gonna siphon off our cider from up here down to here. Get the old yeast, or get the cider off of the old yeast, which is all the dead stuff, sediment at the bottom of the tank, so we won't have a funky flavor. And then we'll go ahead and make up the difference in volume that we lost with a little bit of sugar water. It's not just sugar water. We're going to use a pound of honey and about a half gallon of water, so we can replace the amount that we lost. It's also going to kick-start the fermentation process again, and we'll let it run for another couple of weeks before we get to bottling. Speaking of bottling, I'm going to show you something like that here in just a minute. Well, all right, good people. Now, while the cider is busy making, and it's going to be another 2 weeks before it's really ready to start bottling up, we need to get some bottles washed up. So I've got a great big old tub here. We're going to fill up with soapy water. We got our bottle scrubber there. And we have these reusable bottles. These have the wire top and a gasket, so you can use these over and over and over again without having to buy fresh bottle caps every time you want to bottle something up, like cider or beer or wine or whatever it is that you want to put into bottles. These are, and of course, if this little rubber gasket ever does happen to wear out, you can always cut out a nickel-sized piece of leather and use that instead. So let's get started. And here we go. So these bottles are really simply just work that bail on the top. And if you want to do a good job of sanitizing, you want to take that rubber gasket off and wash each separately. All right, so today, washing bottles, we have Kimber on the left and Brendan on the right. Brendan's got a fishing channel that he's just starting up called Folk Family Outdoor Adventures. You guys might want to go check that out if you want to see these two out there enjoying the great outdoors, going fishing and such. Now, Kimber, you have a TikTok and Instagram also, is that correct?
Yes, it's going to be for the YouTube channel. It's going to be Folk Family 07 for both the Instagram and the TikTok. And I will be emailing the link tree to Jason.
Okay, so Kimber, what are you doing right there? What is that?
Oh, I am washing the bottles.
Uh-huh.
Using my thumb as a fork because none of the bottle washers brushes want to thin the bottles properly.
Uh-huh.
So I agitate some of the soap in here.
Right.
Shake it up real good.
And then?
It's a 2-step process for the rinse because we don't want a whole lot of soap in the rinse water.
All right.
So fill it up a little bit more.
All right.
Once again, agitate.
Agitate one more time. Nice, nice.
Dump the soapy water back in here. And then place the bottle in here.
Hey, it's recycling. All right, and then Brenda, you're taking care of the other half of the rinsing. Looks like. Let's see. This guy's back to us. using the jet on the garden hose to power out the inside of them. Cool. All right, and the last stage, of course, is putting the sanitizer in. One of the nice things about these 15-gallon tubs made by Little Giant, oddly enough, is these rings on them are exactly 5 gallons. So this is 5 gallons of this ring, 10 gallons of that ring, and it makes it pretty easy to measure. Of course, we're using our Star San phosphoric acid non-bleach sanitizer, non-chlorine sanitizer. Let me get this in here, and it's easy to fill. You just squeeze, and there's a 1/2 ounce. That's good enough for 2.5 gallons, and then another 1/2 ounce. That'll get us 5 gallons. All right, to help facilitate the sanitizing stage, we've got a cup. And
how long do they need to sit there with
about 2 minutes, probably.
And then they need to be rinsed again.
No.
No, they'll be dumped out and air dried. All right. Whoa, hello.
Wonderful idea. Let's lay them all down and spray them all at once.
Of course, eventually the original wrappers are going to come off of these bottles. Amazingly enough, this is probably the second time that these bottles have been used. Well, third time we're not going to. The third time we're going to count the time that they were originally filled up at the plant.
Do you know the college trick for getting these to...
Speed test. Bottle on your left is going to be just straight chug chug. The bottle on your right is going to be with the spin.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
You ready?
And go. Ta-da! Isn't that convenient?
Yep. These haven't sat long enough. I gotta wait.
So that means you get to come over here and help me, right?
No. I get to laugh at you.
They're all gonna laugh at you.
I'm already wet.
If you weren't in front of the sanitized solution, I would have splashed.
First 45 bottles have been washed.
Yay!
There's what, 36 more?
There's more than that.
Outside, there's 36 more.
Outside, there's 36 more. If I'm thinking correctly, I think we've got a couple more boxes full in one of the cabinets under the sink, or near the sink, around the sink, or some of that sink. Did Kember take that scrub brush? Oh, hey! I found something that'll fit.
Hey, it fit, it just wasn't long enough.
How's that?
I like how she said, I'll be right back. It just went inside.
Yeah, my dad said the same thing when I was 6 months old. We never saw him again.
Win the lottery. Oh, you're finally back from getting milk? Hi, how are you?
Just gonna go pick up a pack of smokes. Well, all right, good people, that gives us 45 bottles that we've now washed, rinsed, sanitized, and are now air drying. We've got 2 more weeks until the PEAR cider is done brewing and ready to bottle. That's all I've got for you today. As always, if you found this video informative or entertaining, you know what to do. I'll catch you next time. Until then, get out there, get growing.